Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a T-50-2. It's a Tier 6 Soviet premium light tank. It's located on the north spawn of Fisherman's Bay, and it's under the command of markbug of Cubeball. Game on! Well, this is the light tank armed with a 57mm main gun, capable of 85 alpha, 118mm pen with standard ammo. With the APCR, that goes up to 165mm. It's a little pocket rocket that was in the game, but was taken out by Wargaming and then put back into the game afterwards. Well, he's managed to get a shot of the AMX 12-ton, who sneaked in there. See if he can get another shot in there. Well, he pokes out to get another shot, but the AMX 12 tons fired one into him, and the AMX 12 ton obviously does have a 75mm gun, so he did more damage. Okay, the T-50-2 was basically supposed to be a replacement for the T-26 in 1940. They only made one prototype in Leningrad at the Kirov plant, and then I'm afraid it went out into action, basically manned by the people who built it, and one day it never came back. So we can only presume that all the crew were killed, or at least the tank was destroyed. Now, it's actually been in the game for some time as a well-deserved reward. If you've actually had an account for a particular period of time, you get one given to you automatically. Although originally when it came in, people had to pay for it. Yeah, that super chappie's still there, but he just doesn't seem to be paying attention. But the AMX 12 ton's there now, so you ought to be careful he doesn't do that too often, because otherwise the AMX 12 ton will punish him for any transgression like that. And just across the way, there's also a Cromwell. Yes, the chappie's now firing the occasional round in this general direction on the off chance he might catch us. Now, it does have a fairly fast top speed, 65 kilometers an hour. Oh, and the Type 64 down in the distance seems to be, well, he wasn't paying attention at all in the game, and he's taken some damage. He's playing a kind of active spotter role here. Not particularly caring about actually being spotted, but he's certainly getting some damage. Now, this vehicle does actually have a high rate of fire, very good APCR rounds, good gun depression as well. It's 7 degrees gun depression, and a very small profile on camo, but it doesn't corner well when it's going at high speed. It has a tendency to flip over. Uses torsion bar suspension as well, which is quite modern, really, considering at the time, because it was 1940. We've racked up a fair bit of damage, but there you go. That AMX 12 ton again with 75mm does a fair bit of damage with one shot. Every time he pokes out like that, the AMX 12 ton could get some damage on him. And now one of our VKs has gone, in fact several of our tanks have actually got down into the southwest corner of the map, which is now threatening the guys who are up near the center, because of course they'll be able to shoot into them from the behind. So now might be the opportunity to get closer to these guys, to force them to sit in one position to defend themselves against you, in order that you can then get the assist, the spotting. Number of enemy tanks in distance, but we can't get shots on them at the moment. We need to get closer. appears that there's only the Type 56 up near the center line now. There he is, Type 58, not Type 56. Chinese T-34-85, and our Thunderbolt's trying to engage him. It looks like most of the other tanks have retired back. In fact, it looks like the AMX-12 Hum was killed by our Basotto. With 2 tanks down on the enemy team though at the moment, so they still have the advantage. Mark could go in there quickly and claim the kill on that Type 58 because he's very low on hit points. But he's having a look at the town instead. Okay, yes, he is interested in these tanks over here. And we can see the Giro, but RT-3485 is in the way. And that one bounced off his teammate. The annoying thing about that shot is that if he does get the highest damage in the game, he might get disqualified for it for firing a round that hit one of his teammates. There's only 4 on his team left. The annoying thing is there's 7 left on the enemy team. Oh, we just lost another one. And that was our AMX-13F3. And now we've got a Hellcat up here. So we're going to have to really outmaneuver this Hellcat, who doesn't have a very good traversing turret. Oh, nice little ram there. Got some ram damage. He's still pumping those rounds in. Oh, missed that time. That's better. But now we've got the enemy Arty trying to nail us as well. And there's the Cromwell. Ooh. Well, we did take a big hit from the Cromwell. Cromwell was firing APCR at us, actually. That's a bit wasteful because the armor on this thing's not very thick. 52 millimeters is the thickness of the turret all the way round. On the hull, it's only 37 millimeters all the way round. Oh, well, he got revenge on the Cromwell. So that's 2 kills now. Unfortunately, he's only got 1 teammate left and he's facing 5 enemy. KV2 over in the town still. Just a fraction of a second late on the ARL. Have to take into account that 85 alpha. It's very low, which means although it fires very fast, this gun, standard is 2.88 seconds. He's got 2.64. It means you have to fire a lot of rounds just to take down the enemy. It's only 1 more round needed to kill the ARL. Still 5 enemy out there. There he is. Oh, it's the Burt! How did he get up here? Well, he's out the game now. And there goes our chance of getting a Kolobanov. It's 2 versus 4. Unfortunately, now it's 1 versus 4 because they just killed the T-34-85 on our team. So now he's facing 4 enemy tanks, a KV-2, an ARL B-39 who's very low on hit points, the Type 64 which he fired at before, and a Hummel. There's the Hummel. He moved up a little late. So this is where you can use the speed of this vehicle and its great camo to keep away from the enemy but still be able to hit them. I think he wants to take out the ARL V39, then the Hummel. and then he can come back and deal with the Type 64 and the KV-2. Type 64 is, of course, the biggest problem because he does have similar camo, and also he's a light tank, so he can spot us. KV-2, of course, has got heavy tank spotting ability, which means they can barely see over the front of their nose. Well, that's not putting it fairly, but it's sort of like that. They have got very small view range, or short view ranges, heavy tanks. And the enemy started capping, but only one at the cap at the moment. And there's the ARL. He's a one shot, and he's out the game. So that's 1 versus 3 now. And we're up to 4 kills. So he could get a top gun out of this game. Oh, the Hummel on the move. That's one. Can get the kill shot. No, he doesn't get a kill shot, but he does there. So now it's 1 versus 2, but he was spotted by the Hummel. There's still only one in the cap. It's probably the KV-2 rather than the Type 64. We'll find out any second. Trying to go as wide as possible. Oh, there he is. In fact, it is the Type 64. Very unusual. Okay, and he's moving about a bit, and well, now's the time to hit him while he's bushed. Well, he would have been spotted that time. Yes. And that shell just went flying past us from the KV-2. We couldn't see the KV-2 because he was actually behind the bushes. But now we're spotted. They know where we are, and you can see rounds are coming in. So we're weaving and ducking, and whoa, that could have been dangerous. Don't want to go over any ridge lines like that at speed because, of course, T-50-2, as I said, doesn't turn very well at speed. And if he damaged his tracks, then it would have been easy meat for the Type 64 if he came over here. Appears they've just gone straight back to the cap again. Only one in the cap now. And again, it appears to be the Type 64. Now, he's a two-shot. Better to... Oh, he's still firing in the same general direction, but... Oh, no, that was a mistake. He should have fired from cover. He now knows where we are. But he's trying to get into cover, and it's too late. Now, where is the KV-2? That's the big problem. In fact, there he is. He's still there in the tree line, and he hid in the tree line because he's low on hit points. No, he's not getting through the armor. He's actually firing. Oh, he got him! He got him and won the game with that shot, a blind shot. Well, that was an interesting game because it ended on a blind shot in the general direction of where the KV-2 was, and he actually nailed him. Markbug got the kill that won the game. He got an ace tanker out of that game, which is difficult to get because, of course, the T-52 is played by a lot of people, so the standards are very high. He did get a duelist for getting 2 enemy tanks that damaged him, as well as a fire pro effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, and a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 10. He got a Pascucci's medal. He killed both enemy SPGs. The FP304, who came too far forward, hoping to try and hit one of our guys. Of course, hit probably the T-34-85 because that was where he was aimed at the time. But he just got spotted by the T-52 and Markbug took him out. He also took out the Hummel, who also came forward. But yes, I think he should have stuck near to the the KV-2 for protection. He managed to get a Defender medal as well for resetting the cap, getting at least 70 defense points in the process. And he got a Top Gun as well for getting at least 6 kills. In fact, he ended up getting 7, which is just 1 short on getting a Radley Waters. But there was just not enough enemy left for him to get that. His win rate was 21,621, which is very good indeed. In fact, Super Unicum and a lot more, and shows the high standard he showed in that one. It's always interesting when you get a game where you're the last person left alive and you're facing a lot of enemy, and you still manage to pull it off, but just can't get a collarband off because one of your teammates was still alive at the moment that you got the 5th kill. So there you go. He misses out on getting a collarband off, but it was a collarband off style win. He got 2,723 hit points of damage. It was the highest in the game, but no high caliber because he bounced around off one of his teammates, and that disqualified him, I'm afraid. The second highest damage in the game was KB2 on the enemy team, 2,434. And that guy got the high caliber instead because, of course, he didn't bounce around off one of his teammates, but he did get 20% of the enemy hit pool. So there you go. He got less damage than the high scorer, but, of course, he was more careful with his shots. And I did mark at the time that that T-34 was too close to the guy you were firing at, the Giro. And as a result, it actually cost you a medal. So the third highest damage in the game, well, that turned out to be the M6, who got 1,536 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, he got the highest with that. 7 kills went to markbug, 4 kills went to the KB2 on the enemy team, 3 kills went to the Cromwell on the enemy team, and our M6. And when it came to base XP, he's got that one as well, definitely. So he's got the highest damage technically, but of course he was disqualified. Highest number of kills, highest base XP, 1,564. The nearest, he was the only player to get over 1,000 base. The nearest player to him was the M6 with 814, followed by the Juno, who got 693. So he did perform well, but for that one shot that he fired, which bounced off one of his teammates, and as a consequence, he missed out on a medal. 48 shots fired. Well, this thing comes with 76 rounds of ammo, so you've got plenty to spare. 41 of those were direct hits and 36 were penetrations. He did use some premium ammo, though. 2,723 hit points of damage, of which 1,581 were at more than 300 meters. He did receive 4 hits, all 4 penetrated, I'm afraid. 6 enemy vehicles were spotted, 11 enemy vehicles were damaged, 7 were killed, and he got 311 hit points of spotting assist in the game, and you got enough defense points for 100, so you only get the maximum of 100, so you reset the cap more than he needed. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of 8,523 credits, and he got 25 bonds for a mission achievement, and 5,396 experience points out of the game as well. Not a bad game. Very interesting, in fact, for the fact it was an ace tanker and he performed so well. But for that one shot he fired where I knew that he was just firing too close to one of his teammates at a distance. And yeah, that T-34 round that bounced off cost him the medal and lost him the chance of getting all 4 columns, all 3 columns, I should say, technically on the scores. Yes, because it would have been quite nice if he'd had that. But I suppose you could say technically he does have it because he gets the top in all 3 figures. But yeah, you missed out on the medal because the KB2 did better. So well done, markbug. I'm sure you're going to be coming back with more replays in the T-52. If that's how you perform, you are definitely outperforming, although you were a very active spotter. And I think that AMX 12-ton was definitely enjoying putting rounds through you every time you poked out. So I think it's a case of following what Auroric 78 does and sitting in a bush and seeing how much spotting assist you can actually get by just bushing yourself and then watching the enemy make the mistakes of getting shot at. If you enjoyed that replay, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.